Okay, so I looked up a video on why my dragon fruit might not be growing, and I decided to dig them up and see if they are getting roots. One thing that I'm doing wrong is I'm planting these far too deep. You can see there that it's like 3 inches. Well, you're only supposed to plant them like a half an inch apparently, because they are very prone to rotting below the surface, and then you only barely put in some water. So I've been watering them far too much, without realizing it. Now I've been watering them less than a normal plant, but it's still way too much. So I pulled these two out first, and you can see that they haven't developed any root system, and that the bottom is just somewhat rotten. So what I'm going to do about that is I'm going to cut these about an inch up and let them dry for about a week. And then once they're nice and dry and they, have scabbed over, I'll plant them a half an inch down and barely water them and keep them in the shade. So all those things together will help them develop their root system. Meanwhile, this one, which was also buried just as deep, did manage to develop some roots. So I'm going to keep that sandy soil on there, and I'll replant that guy, but I'll replant him a half an inch down. So that's good. That means that one I don't need to cut and do all that weird stuff. So I'm going to dig up this one. You can see here how deep down I have it. Now another problem, especially on this piece that I've been getting, is this little orange spot. You see that orange spot? So that's a fungus, and I'm pretty sure that's a fungus. And to deal with it, what I've been recommended is to mix hydrogen peroxide with water and spray it on there. So I'll do just that. I'll start doing that regularly until I see that going away, and if it doesn't go away, then I'll figure out what I can do from there. Yep, no roots. So just buried way too deep. Probably not enough in the shade as well. I put them to get like 5 or 6 hours of sunlight a day, but that's more of like what they're supposed to get in growth. So just got to redo it. That's okay. All right, now I've dug out the rest of them, and this one had good roots. This one had one little teeny tiny root, but I'll go ahead and accept that as growth. This one had a giant root ball that I managed to save while I dug it up. And this one is actually already attached to the pole. This one has roots that have grown out and latched onto the pole, and it's got a very deep, wide root system. So I'm not going to mess with that one. It might have lifelong problems because it's buried so deep, and that might cause the base of this to rot at some point. I'm not sure. But I'm going to go ahead and rebury the rest of these in this pot. I'll put this one with the ones that didn't grow at all though. But I'll bury these in this pot just a half inch deep, and then I'll have one pot of the ones that have rooted and one pot of the ones that haven't. So that'll be how I move forward with this project to see if I can't get this working right.